Welcome to the Future of Work series, brought to you by Blue Monday, a technology consulting firm specializing in strategy and advisory services. In this podcast, we explore the transformative impact of machine learning on enterprise resource planning, or ERP, and its role in driving automation across business operations. Visit our Insights page at bluemonday.io/insights to download the full article discussed in this episode. Please note, the podcast narrative is powered by AI-generated voices.
All right, so, everybody uses these big ERP systems, right?
Yeah.
Like SAP and Oracle and Microsoft and Workday.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they can kind of feel,
a little clunky.
they can kind of feel like almost
Outdated.
outdated.
Mhm.
Like, using a rotary phone
Oh, yeah.
when everyone else has a smartphone.
Right.
But lucky for us, there's this new wave of tech that's promising
Yeah.
to bring these systems into the future.
Yeah.
And we're talking machine learning.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just like basic automation,
Right.
We're talking like machine learning or ML can
Uh-huh.
actually let these ERP systems learn
Yeah.
from the data they're using, so they can see patterns and then
make decisions.
exactly decisions that normally you would need a person to make.
I mean, it's like giving your ERP a whole new brain.
Exactly.
Like it can think for itself almost.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And for today's deep dive, we have this awesome article by Siamak Razmazma. He's the president of Blue Monday, which is a tech consulting firm.
Right.
And his article is called ERP Gets a Brain.
That's a catchy title.
Right. And he really gets into how ML can transform
Uh-huh.
these systems.
Yeah, and Siamak really hits the nail on the head when he
Uh-huh.
talks about how ML is revolutionizing
Right.
the way businesses do things. You can use it to predict when equipment's going to fail or optimize
Right.
your supply chain.
In real time.
Exactly. And those are things that traditional ERP systems, they just weren't built to do that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I guess for our listeners, can you give some specific examples of how ML is being used to improve ERP in, the real world?
Sure. So think about a manufacturing company that's using ERP to manage
Okay.
all of their production.
Uh-huh.
They can add an ML to analyze data from sensors on their equipment and then predict when something's about to break down. And that means they can do maintenance, proactively, so there's less downtime, and they're not losing, potentially millions of dollars in production.
So you're going from reacting to a problem
Right.
to actually preventing it.
Exactly. And another cool example is in finance. So you can use ML algorithms to look at historical financial data and spot patterns that might point to fraud. So it helps businesses catch financial irregularities way faster and better than traditional systems that just use rules.
So CMAC has these 6 key recommendations for,
Yeah.
how to successfully implement ML.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing he says is to define the business benefits,
Okay.
but in really clear, non-technical terms.
Yeah, so why is that so important?
It's super important because I think it's really easy to get,
Caught up in the hype.
all this new technology,
Yeah.
and you can lose track of, what are we actually
research.
Yeah. What are we trying to do? So before you even start, you got to ask yourself,
Right.
what problem are we trying to solve specifically with ML,
Right.
and how's it going to improve our efficiency?
Right.
Or how's it going to make us more money?
Yeah.
If you can't explain that, your project's
Yeah,
probably...
you're going to have a tough time.
So basically, don't just jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, you got to have a plan.
Yeah. You got to know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
So what's his next recommendation?
So CMAC, he really stresses that you got to be targeted with how you implement this stuff. So you shouldn't look at ML as this, magic wand that can automate everything.
Right.
Instead, what you should do is focus on specific tasks, things you're doing manually in your ERP that are just begging to be automated. Could be anything, from making sales forecasts to processing invoices automatically.
It's about picking the right things to automate.
Right, exactly. You don't need to go overboard and try to automate every single little thing. And that actually brings us to his third point, which is all about data quality.
Oh, yeah. Data quality is huge.
It's absolutely crucial. You need to have a really solid, reliable data set to train your ML model. Because if you're feeding it bad data or incomplete data, you're going to get...
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we make sure we have the right data for ML?
Well, you got to start by really looking at your existing ERP data. See how good it is. Is it complete? Are there any gaps or inconsistencies.
Yeah.
And then you might need to bring in data from other sources outside of your ERP,
Okay.
just to make sure you have a really complete picture.
Gotcha. His fourth recommendation is all about integration. So you got to integrate that ML model with your existing ERP.
Right.
Why is that so important?
So think about it. You have this powerful ML model making these awesome predictions, but what happens if those predictions are just stuck in their own little world?
Right.
They're not connected to your main ERP system.
Right. They're just sitting there.
Yeah. And then it's like, what's the point?
They're not actually helping you do anything.
Right, right. To really get the full benefit of ML, you need that seamless integration.
Uh-huh.
So the insights from the ML model can directly feed into the decisions and actions happening in your ERP workflow.
Gotcha. So you have to create that synergy
Yeah, it's going to all work together.
between the systems.
Exactly. And his fifth point is about getting help from outside experts.
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense because this stuff can get...
Complicated,
Yeah.
especially if you don't have that expertise in-house.
Right.
So, don't be afraid to reach out to partners who have experience with developing and implementing ML solutions.
Yeah, it's like having a guide
Right?
when you're going into uncharted territories.
Territory, exactly. Okay, and his last point is to, be careful when you're looking at those AI-powered ERP systems.
Right.
What's the main takeaway there?
Well, remember that ML is only as good as the data it's trained on.
Right.
So don't get sucked into all the marketing hype.
That's promising you miracles without really understanding how the system actually works and where it's getting its data from.
Right.
Make sure any solution you're looking at, it really aligns with what your business needs and that it actually has access to the right kind of data to give you, meaningful results.
But be an informed consumer.
Yes. Don't believe everything you hear. Do your research.
All right, so as we're wrapping up here, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
The biggest thing to remember is that ML has the power to totally change how businesses operate, but it takes careful planning.
Right.
You need to have a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
and you got to commit to having good quality data.
It all comes back to the data.
Always.
We've covered a lot today, so I guess if there's one thing for you to think about, it's this. What seemingly impossible problem at your work could ML actually help you solve?
That's a good question.
The possibilities are pretty much limitless, and we're just getting started with this technology.
It's exciting to think about what the future holds.
Absolutely.
We hope you found the insights on machine learning's impact on ERP systems valuable. For more details, visit our Insights page at www.blumenday.ao/insights. For any questions or a free evaluation of potential machine learning use cases to automate your business operations, email us at contact_us@blumenday.eo.